Hello, hello, hello. I'm a few minutes early, but if you go according to the timing on social media, I'm an hour late. And I've discovered, because I went in to make sure everything was working to what's called backstage in StreamYard, because Sarah messaged me on Monday and said, we've set it up. And but I didn't check the time. And of course, Sarah is in Spain. That's why I'm here. Thanks, Teresa. Nice to hear that I sound good. Picture's good. Thank you. Always nice to know. So yes, Sarah was on my time zone, so set it up for an hour earlier. Oh well. Now I know to check next time. Live and learn. Live and learn, live and learn. So yes, I'm a few minutes early for the normal slot. So I'm just going to yak for a few minutes. Hi, Melanie. Welcome. Yeah, technically I only should go live in a minute, but I thought, seeing as I saw there was some of you on already, that I should come and say hello. And I did say that I would be working with my vintage ink. And so while we wait for everybody to catch up with the fact that I have finally gone live, I thought I would just show this folio that I designed and made. Some of you who were in Birmingham saw this in real life. And I know that Sarah had two options on the website. The option to just get the stencil set to make this has sold out, and there are only a few left of this kit, which includes a full paper pad. So she was selling just the stencils for £18, and this is selling for 25. So basically you are getting the stencils, the ribbon, the cardstock, and the paper pad for £6. I mean, that's crazy. Oh, I'm on the TV. I'm famous, Karen. That's crazy. So, yeah, so basically it's a really good deal. And then on top of that, she has got the paper pad and my stamps on sale. So that's the ticker tape I have going along the bottom of the video for you, just as a reminder. She's got that until Sunday while stocks last. So just also as a reminder, I'm talking about the fact that Sarah is away. That's why I am doing the live tonight. She will only be packing kits when she is back. So evening, Natalie. She won't be shipping anything until after the 18th. So there is a note at the top of the website about that. The 18th being Good Friday. So I don't think she'll be shipping anything. Monday's a public holiday. So, because it's Easter. Yeah, I would say probably till Tuesday, I'm guessing. I mean, knowing Sarah, she'll get back and start packing things straight away. But yes, I'm just giving you the heads up that Sarah has left the building, left me in charge. So what are we doing tonight? I'm going to be working in my art journal because I love working in my art journal. And I'm just going to take this ticker tape thing off because I've had enough of it now, and I'm sure you've all read it by now. So, hello, Hannah. Evening. Couple of envelopes left to make your vintage ink folio. Oh, yay! So, yes, and Hannah, now that you've made one, all you need is another 3 pieces of A4 cardstock and a different paper pad, and you can make a whole new one for any other of the designs that you want to use for storage. So it's so gratifying when you guys post online. We really, really do appreciate it when we've designed something and then you guys make it and you enjoy it as much as us. It really does make my heart go all warm and fuzzy. So this journal, I know that there are only Zinsky art notebooks. These are under notebooks. So if you are looking on the website for these, they are under notebooks, not under journal. I know because I was looking under journal and found them under notebook. So mine has sold out, and the other two have sold out, and we just have Zinsky art left. Oh, thanks, Hannah. I'd love to see it. It's always great. Hi, Selena. So I am going to be working in my journal, and I'll just show you in case you've missed previous lives or photos where I have done using the vintage ink stamps and paper. And in this case, it was the die that I turned into a stamp. If you go on my personal YouTube, you will see I have playlists, and the sort of how to do stuff playlist includes how I turned this into a stamp using craft foam, just really thick craft foam, or you can cut it twice, I guess, and glue it together. But that's how I created this. Then we have this one where I colored my stamps nice and bright using alcohol inks and using the nice bright papers. And then we're going to have tonight's one. And I thought, it's spring. Well, it's certainly warm here today. It's a false summer, that's for sure. And looking at my designs, let's just get my paper pad out of the way. I had decided that I'm going to, so excuse my squeaky chair in the background, I'm going to use a combination of my stamps, the birds for spring, the flower for spring, and quite possibly, so this rose, which you can't really see on here, and please excuse my very well-loved stamps. I was having a conversation with one of my online students yesterday, and she always keeps her stamps so pristine clean. I do clean mine with alcohol, and in fact, these ones were just as, I'm going to say, dirty, I call it well-loved, as these ones, but I gave them a good scrubbing with a old toothbrush and some alcohol, and they've come up really nice and clean again. And that is because I use the VersaFine Clear ink. If you use the Adirondack or the, what is this brand? Ranger inks, they will make your stamps go kind of pink. So that is just a heads up. So sorry, Sarah, if Sarah Lou, that is, if you are watching this, you have to put up with my little blue birdies because they are blue. So I'm just planning out my page to start with before I get going with the actual background. Oh, thanks, Natalie. Would I consider adding more designs and characters? Maybe even a mermaid. We'll have to speak to Sarah. She's in charge of what I draw. So those are cool ideas, though. Extra characters. Yeah. What strength alcohol do you use? And I don't mean Clipdrift. Clipdrift being a South African brandy. I use 99% isopropyl alcohol. So the 97, the 99, those work really, really well. And I'm using an old spray bottle from Stamperia that said 76%, but I'm promising you there's 99% in here. And I do know that there is a difference in alcohol and how it reacts with that ink because I tested a technique that I teach using this ink with alcohol, and you need it to be higher than the 91. So it depends on where you buy your isopropyl alcohol. In some places, 91% is all you can get at the shop, but you have to go to a pharmacy and maybe get the 99. You feel that those stamps would like to be clean as rum if they could choose their alcohol. Yes. I don't own rum to test that theory. That would be funny. I do own some brandy, though. Usually goes into my Christmas pudding. Just hang on a second. Mom, I'm live. Mom's talking with her headphones in, and she's I know you forgot. She can't hear me because she's got her headphones on, but she's happily talking to my son who's in the kitchen. Like, yeah. So, last time she heard herself, she was watching and she heard herself talking to my son in the background. She was having a good laugh. Okay, so yes, I don't live in a vacuum, unfortunately. My studio is pinched off the corner of the lounge. So I am planning my page, and I have some, in this case, they're going to be my spring birds. Not sure. I want to have them. I definitely need 3. And if I don't know if in other countries you had the ducks flying up a wall, sort of like 1, 2, 3. In South Africa, it was a big thing. These ceramic ducks that were flying up a wall. So I think I might need 3 birds, and I'm not sure if I will do the banner. So we'll put that back. I have got on my desk this stamp set because I might want to do the word spring. No worries, you're not late. I was technically an hour late if you actually look at the timing of when this was set for. Good evening, Nicola. You've been on holiday, decided to create a journal page using 2 photos and tickets collected during your trip. Yes, that is great. Selena says that was here years ago. Yes, so ducks flying at an angle up a wall was a thing as a child growing up. So I think we might do the same thing. We might have 3 birdies flying up the page like so, and I'll have a title over there, and then I'm going to have some roses. So that's going to be my plan. Now, how am I going to do this page tonight? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some stamping, and then I'm going to use some clear. Oh no, I have white. Let's use white. Let's use some white embossing powder. Clear would work just as well because basically I'm wanting it as a resist. So I'm going to do all the stamping in clear, and I probably should have actually cleaned these stamps because clear will react with this. And which bird do I want? I need this one. Okay, so let's clean this bird quickly. I'm gonna pop down some spare paper and give him a bath in alcohol. Grab said old toothbrush, give him a bit of a clean. It does splatter, so just make sure that you are working on a surface that doesn't really matter. Otherwise, then you'll end up cleaning your surface as well. So you can see a lot of ink comes off with the alcohol. And this is advisable when you are, as I say, going to change colors to clear, for example. So let's just give him another quick bath and another quick toothbrushing, feather grooming. Hi, Caroline. Good afternoon, Patricia from the US of A. So now we have a very nice clean birdie. Look at that. Clean that off the back. What a difference between him and him, or her and her, or him and her. Really no telling with these birds. Oh, let's get that off my book. So yes, it is very satisfying to do this. And as I say, I probably should have done this, but now you got to see what I was talking about earlier. So let me pop my birdie on there and my dirty one back on his packaging. And let's just pop that in the bin. So, swiping the dirt on my desk and making a stack. Yeah, it is quite amazing, Selena. It is. So I'm going to have to do the same with this one. So I'll just grab another piece of scrap paper and clean this guy up because if I'm going to be using my clear embossing pad, it's going to make it all dirty. So let's draw on the rose. Give the rose a good old going over. And clean that off. Give that a wipe. It's kind of like magic, actually. Okay, we'll do it one more time. The reason I use the toothbrush is just to get into all those nooks and crannies. And then peel it off the paper. So yes, huge difference, huge difference. Right. Now that's ready. And clean the toothbrush. I just want to do this now before I put it away, and then I go to do something else with it, and it's full of ink. So, right. Oh, look at my desk. It's now had a splattering of secondhand ink. I'm just going to... You didn't sign up to watch me clean my desk, but I'm fussy that way. Right, so now we have 2 clean stamps. See, it's as quick as that. Nail brush would work just as well. Does it damage the stamps? No, it doesn't. They don't seem to be affected. I clean my stamps with alcohol all the time. And they remain sticky and cling just as easily. You know, they really are still quite sticky. So, right, now I need another piece of scrap paper. And believe me, my printer produces them at a rate of knots. I don't know what its problem is at the moment, but it prints that at the top of the page and then spits it out, and it does that 4 times. So, yes, very annoying. Right, now we need clear ink. And I'm going to use this one. No, that's my dirty one. See, this is why I want to clean my... That's better. They're not a hell of a lot better, but it's better than that. And that's why I wanted to clean my stamps, because otherwise you make your clear stamp pad dirty. So I just want to see where I'm going to put it and where my bird needs to be on my block. So I'm going to have my bird there. And that means my block needs to go round about there-ish. And I'll do those 2. And then when I do this one, I'll have to move it again. So I'm going to stamp both birds before I put the powder on. I'm just making sure that, because it's clear on now, a clear stamp, that I have enough ink. So we're going to stamp. Of course, this technique can be used on a card front. It doesn't have to be in a journal. So when I work in my journal, I always skip a page. Now, it's impossible to see if there's anything there, but we will just carry on regardless. You can see the shine of the ink in the light, so I know he is there, or she. And so I was saying that I normally skip a page, which I have done, because when I do the spraying, it does tend to mess, and then I glue those 2 pages together. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to tip my white embossing powder. And I was a naughty girl. I did not clean or de-static my page, but we'll just have to go with the flow. It's an art journal. Not giving this to anybody. If it lands up a bit spotty, it's not the end of the world as we know it. Anti-static, yes. I'm so busy yakety-yakking that I forgot. I can see some ink where I don't want it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a brush. I'm going to hold it at an angle so I can see where the powder, I said ink, I meant powder. Let's get better light on there. Okay. I'm just going to brush away anything that I can see that I don't want. I think you can actually see that on the video. Yay! Okay, so there we go. Right. And that looks good. I'm going to get my heat tool out. So I use my Ranger heat tool even though, oh, and I need some, I didn't quite get his wing. Let's just quickly get that. So hopefully there's enough powder still there. I obviously missed it because clear embossing powder is kind of hard to see. So I'm going to be using my Ranger heat tool. It is the same temperature as the long skinny ones. I know some of you have the long skinny ones that have 2 heat settings. So I think the Ranger one is the same temperature as the hottest setting. So I'm just trying to get all of that in there. And I'm going to close that before I start heating. Oh, it's a pleasure, Nicola. Yeah, I think sometimes we forget that, you know, we're so busy doing demos of how to make things that we forget that it's important to also remember how to clean things and look after our stuff. Yeah, some of the browns can stain in VersaFine Clear, but I definitely find that even if I clean with alcohol, the Ranger stains straight away. Like my Stampscope Pink. Doesn't matter what color I've used, the Stampscope Pink. Now I'm trying to do this. Now you'll notice I lift up one page. I'm separating it so that the heat can go through the paper. So there we go. I think both my birds are shiny. Let's just double check this wing. There we go. Yes. Yes. Right. Let's do the next bird. So I need to move him or her, them to the other side. I know with birds, the boy bird is always the most colorful because the lady bird, and I'm not talking about the spotty insect, has to sit on the nest in camouflage, whereas the men have to show off. So to get her attention. So until we color this up, we don't know yet. Yes, Annalise, you won these. Annalise was the winner of one of my lives. And she did get the set. So tonight there's no prize. Your prize is a discount on the store. So that's what Sarah's done. She set up the stamps and the papers as a discount. So everybody's a winner tonight. No picking winners. You all get to win if you choose to spend your money on the shop and get the special deal. If you go on the sale, it should be right at the top. Have I used Ranger Glow Up Glow in the Dark embossing powder? I've tried it with all kinds of ink and clear embossing ink. Just doesn't seem to set completely. No, I haven't. I don't own that. I've just been on the lookout for white embossing powder, and this is what I got. Oh, crumbs. Did I get this in New Zealand, Australia, or America? I can't remember. It doesn't have a euro in front of it, so it's definitely not local. Right, so now I'm going to, and I didn't anti-static again. Bad girl. And I can see lots of nonsense. So here we go. Fixing my own messes. Maybe by the time I do the roses, let me get my anti-static out. That might help. If I actually put it in front of me. There we go. Might help a lot. to remind me that I need to use it. Yes. Okay. I think we've got it all, and now I went and got overzealous with my brush, so now we have, I took it off his wing too much. Did it stick again? Oh, I hope so. Oh, sorry, birdie, if I caused you an injury. Hi, Donna. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Ali. No problem. Nice to have you here. I'm doing my birds. I'm doing a spring page using my vintage ink. I thought, well, one of the things that I love about this particular set of stamps, both of them, is they are quite versatile. I mean, you could use them for an anniversary, Valentine's, birthdays, for men, for women. It's a really versatile paper card and 2 sets of stamps. It's something that I have really enjoyed using in a lot of different ways. Yes, Donna, have you used Steve the Pigeon? I think it's hilarious. Having met Steve, I could get into trouble for saying when I did on the live that I could see a likeness. I definitely will be in trouble now if he watches this back. Hopefully they're sitting somewhere in Spain, not getting too rained out, and enjoying, I don't know, a pina colada. What do they drink in Spain? Right, so now I need to just give this a quick wipe with a wet wipe, because now I've got clear ink on there, which of course you can't see, so I can do the alcohol, but I know a wet wipe will get this off. So there we go. Squeaky clean bird, literally. Sangria. He's in the process of being used. He's out on your desk. Oh, exciting stuff. Okay, right. So now I'm going to do definitely a rose over here. And then I'm going to do one, because I like to do things in odd numbers. So we have the birds flying across the page like the good old ducks used to do. I'm going to remember to do my puffy stuff. So, oh, wait a minute, somewhere along the line you're supposed to do something like this to get the powder in the brush. Yes. And so we will anti-static the page. Like a good crafter. Pop that back on. Right. Now we will ink up the stamp. Oh, thanks, Ali. Yes. Well, I designed the left and right facing birds so that you could use it with the banner. You know, you've got the banner, so they can hold the banner on both sides. Originally, I designed them actually physically holding the banner as one long stamp, so the 2 birds and the banner were all one. And then Sarah and I discussed it, and she said, well, I think it'll be more versatile and useful if we separated them. And I thought that was just genius. So I took the birdie's feet off and yeah, because they looked odd with feet just flying in the air. Birds don't have their feet sticking out when they're flying, so that just looked odd to me. So I erased their feet. That's the joy of working on an iPad when you are designing, is you can just easily erase stuff, change stuff. And in fact, I had like a halo thing on the one girl, same as I did around the guy, and we decided to take that off. And because you work on layers in the iPad, you can just delete a layer or go back in with an eraser and just delete it. Selena, it does make a big difference, especially if you are using like a gold on a black background, a gold embossing powder on a dark surface. It definitely makes a big difference, and you have far less cleanup. So there is the rose, which I'm about to pour. I hope the rose is all there, otherwise we will be doing a fix-up or an overlay. The birds seem to have all worked nicely. Okay. Yes, I can see my stamp didn't quite stamp properly there. That's what I was worried about. So, oh well, it is what it is. I'm going to heat it and take it from there. I might be able to do a fix up, or we just do an overlay. So yes, you can see, Selena, I haven't had to do any brush work with this one. It just, the powder just slipped off because there's no, what the anti-static does is it stops the fingerprints from making any places for the, so where you've touched the page, it stops any grease from your fingers, even though your hands might be clean. You might find that you have hand cream on. Definitely, if you had hand cream on and you touch the paper, the powder would definitely like to stick. So I'm going to, yes, I've also used a craft knife to scratch off rogue pieces, but it, I'm wanting to put, hi Sarah Lou, I'm wanting to put, oh, that's come undone. That's probably not a good thing. I'm wanting to put ink over the top, and if I scratch anywhere on this surface, it would show. So I'm so busy talking. Did I actually clean that? Right. Now let's put the lid back on. Going to try and do a quick by hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. I'm going to work out where I need to do the running repairs and see if I can line this up. Now, this is so much easier when you have dark ink underneath to do a running repair, but I'm just going to eyeball it and see if I can get that to fix that spot. We'll soon see now when we put some powder on. Right here. Okie dokie. Now I will need the brush to just take off any where I can see, if I can see, doubling up. So I don't want it doubling up. Just wanted it filling the gap. Mind the gap. Fill the gap, please. Fill the gap. Right, let's fix that. Yes, AI is so incredibly clever. I do use AI for all sorts of different things, and there we go, fixed. So there you also got to see how to fix your fluff up. Sarah Lou is in Facebook, and so is Patricia. Right, so now that I've got that far, now I'm happy with my base, and I'm going to put some ink on. But before I do that, I need to just get my powder back into its container. Do I prefer that hairdryer type of heat gun to the long straight one? I personally use it because I do a lot of lives, and the other one is very noisy. However, I do enjoy this one, and I have both. But because like now I'm about to do inking and spraying, I do find that the hairdryer shape one definitely is better for drying ink. And I need to just clean that stamp while I remember. It's definitely better to dry ink that is wet and liquid than the pointy one, because I find that does tend to want to blow the liquid around. So I'm just going to pop that off to one side. Now I need my cardboard, which are both, of course, on the floor under everything. So these are just old cereal box cardboards, and I'm actually, because my new paper towel isn't open yet and it's a mission to open, I'm just going to drop my very well used ink rag on my desk to protect it in between, because I'm now going to pop my cereal box in there, and there will be overspray, and I don't feel like cleaning this desk pad again. And sometimes the ink goes down through there. So now I'm going to get my inspiration from this set of rub-ons. So I'm going to go for, it's spring, but I'm going for soft colors. And so I'm going to go for picked raspberry, kit flamingo, and then where is my vintage photo? Okay. Oh dear, grinding teeth. Why are we talking about grinding teeth? I must admit, stopping. Annie sounds uncomfortable. I missed something somewhere. Anyway, it's not a craft question, so I can't answer that. Right, and I need my water sprays. So I always go light to dark. And so this is just water in a spray bottle. So I'm going to just wet my page. I'm going to go with the lighter one, which is Kit Flamingo at the top. Then we're going to go into Picked Raspberry. Oh, come on. Thank you. Oh, drown it, why don't you? And then we're going to go into Vintage Photo down at the bottom. Right, and we're going to add a bit more water at the top here, because now I'm so busy yakking, it's dried. The water also activates the oxides and gives it that nice grey look. Now we're going to do my famous close and squish. This is why I love this paper so much, because the paper in these journals handles an incredible amount of liquid. And this is a trick that I learned from Diane Reevely, this roller towel that you leave on the roll and you just squish. Basically what you're doing is you are using it to squish any excess out, and then you can see it just joins up there. Right, now I'm going to just see, what do I need to do? No, I'm quite happy with that actually. I quite like how that has come out. We're going to blow dry. So this is why I like this, because there's a lot of liquid over here, and I'm really just, if I was using the pointy heat tool, it would be blasting that ink across the page. And yes, there are places where it didn't clean, but it doesn't matter. It's an art journal. What sprays are there? So I use the Distress Oxides. This one's marked as new because I have 2 bottles and I have an older one. So when I get a new one, I always mark a new one. So I used Kitsch Flamingo. That was the lighter one. Then at the top, then this was Vintage Photos at the bottom. And picked raspberry was in the middle. I do love brown and pink together, and the oxides go all chalky once you add water to them. And one of the reasons why I like to spray in the book is so that you get the color inside the wire binding. So Ali's answering that question about the dryers as well. I do. Oh, thanks for the links, Ali. It's taken a while. Honey tone. Yes, it definitely takes on different tones as it dries, depending on how light and dark it is. And you can see that the paper hasn't really warped. It's, I mean, it's curling now, but I'm pulling all the, look at that. You pull all the moisture out of one side, but the minute I go back to that side, it'll pull it back the other way. So I really find that working on here is really good. Okie dokie. So now I can clear away all the anti-mess factor. So I've got all my sprays standing on. Now you need to always clean the nozzles when you're done, because that just stops any possible blockages. I do find, oh no, I've swapped. There we go. So always do that as a good crafter. I'm not always a good crafter, but when it comes to things like that, I do try and remember that. So now I can just, if there's any ink on top of the birds or anyway, I can just take, I'm just using it's dry. It's not clean, but it's dry. I can use a clean one, so you can clean sections, so you can maybe see if it does pick up any ink. So the idea is, yes, that it does a resist, and even my fix-up is not noticeable over there. Yay! Right, let's see. I want to use my stamps to say spring. So that is on the cards, and I have my stencils. So let's get out my folder of all the stencils. So I have got all my Funky Fossil stencils. We can just look, those are all mine in the front, then we're heading towards Christmas at the back. Let's see, what have we got in between? Splats, hearts, textures, dots. I do love some good dots. Of course, we have gears and things. I'm looking for a filler, is what I'm looking for, that I can use as a filler. And we have my favorite filler stencil for edges, so we will definitely get that out. And I'm just looking. I'm sure I had some stencils out earlier. But you know, the Bermuda Triangle had my own creation. Let's have a look. Yes, I did have some out, but yeah, this one. This is the one, or maybe that one. No, this one. That's what I wanted. Okay, let's pop that away. Hannah, I need to be braver. Been working on other paper and sticking it in my journal. I need to woman up and just go straight to a page. You know what, Hannah? The great thing is, especially as I leave, so that I can put the support or the protection cardboard underneath here, and because I leave a gap, if I don't like this page, well, I can just pull it out. So dear Carol Ann. So the joy is you can just pull this out, or if you had worked on your back of a page that you were still happy with and didn't want to obviously pull out, well, then you could just glue them together. It's really not a problem at all. So the joy for me of working in an art journal, obviously for you guys, I'm doing a live, so you get to see what I do, but I'm a designer and I'm here to inspire you. So if you're working for yourself, the joy of working in a journal is you don't have to show anyone. You're not giving it to anybody. It's not a card. It's not a birthday card, greeting card of any description. It's not going on a canvas that you're going to hang on the wall. There's absolutely no pressure working in a journal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in some background. I think these are kind of meant to be waves, but they also look like rose petals to me. So now I need my brush, and I have my, well, of course, where's my pink one? Might need to start a new brush for pink. I have yes, I need a new brush for pink. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to use pink on pink because I want it kind of subtle. And I'm using the Picked Raspberry, which is the darker one. And I'm probably going to get out a little bit of the Vintage Photo as well. So I'm going to use, and I love these funky fossil brushes. They are just delicious. So now I'm not trying to do the whole stencil. I'm just filling in this area over here with a texture, really. That's all I'm really looking to do, is to just fill it in. And then down here, it could even be wind. This could be like wind under their wings. Even on the brown, you can go over the top. And you can see it. So let's have some of this wind. Today was very windy in Berlin. Good grief. I've got spoiled, not coming from Cape Town, where it's incredibly windy. Berlin is hardly windy at all. So when it is windy, I moan. It's hilarious how quickly one gets used to. Okay, I like that. That is now looking kind of where I got it over the bird, and it's inked on the bird. Because it is embossed, you can just take your cloth, it's a dry cloth, and wipe it off. Ta-da! Now I'm going to take my applicator tool, because I'm better with an applicator tool. Shh, Sarah's not watching. I'm going to make this dark at the top. This is why I wasn't particularly worried that it was kind of blotchy at the top. So I'm just going to fill that in. And now, using the Vintage Photo, so I'm repeating this color that I used at the bottom, and I'm now going to use my favorite stencil, or she says, looking for my new one. So this stamp you might recognize as that stencil. Do you? Let's put the one where you can kind of see it next to the other. So I took, this is my all-time favorite stencil, but it is quite tiny. And so I designed the stamp for Sarah, which is an even more distressed version of that. So I think I might combine them. So at the top here, I'm going to use, let's grab my other brush. I'm going to use my stencil around the edge. So what I'm going to do is just make sure that my stencil lines up straight, because I'm kind of fussy that way. And I'm going to have it fading over here and getting quite dark. So I'm layering the stencils. For me, in journals, layers, 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 and more layers. You can never have enough layers. So whether it's layers of stencils, layers of stamps, now you see that kind of frames it already. It helps to draw your eye out. So we have the birds leading your eye up towards the edge of the page over here. So I'm going to do the same thing. Get my ink onto the edge. And just let it fade out over there. So that works nicely. Now, let's stamp. Oh, thanks, Ellie. So, yes, that's the stamp for and I'm not even going to put it on a block because I want to be able to bend it, but I'm going to use the same ink. So let's put it on a flat surface. Not making life easy for myself on a wobbly bobbly surface. Okie dokie. So one of the things I did is I intentionally did not make a square edge on the stamp, but I'm even more so going to stamp by not letting the whole stamp touch. There we go. Going to stamp there. Now I need ink again. The side is flat, so it's ink. So we're getting a nice repeat of similar texture but different scale. And the stamp, I can get really nice and close into that edge. And up this side. So I did there. Let's do here. So I'm holding it up so that I don't get, and I went slightly skew. Is that a problem? Not really. Let's fill that a little bit. Okie dokie. So now I have a nice border. I've got the fine one at the top and the stronger one at the bottom. And now I can clean the stamp just with water. And the fun thing is, I'm just going to do it on some of that scrap paper I had out. You can always, with the distress, you can get a second print from this. It's probably going to be not much because I've used most of the ink on here. But if quite often what I do is I get a second, I would normally get like a decent piece of cardstock out. Look at that. Ta-da! Great fun. So you could use that as a background for something else, and it's a whole different feel. Waste not, want not. Right, now we need to do some coloring, and I need a title. I like words on my pages. So, oh dear, Hannah, time to get it out and get using. Use it. Much more fun to use it than to look at it, I can assure you. I love the wet, smooshed. It looks like a map. Yes, it does, Selena. Okay, so now we want to have words. Now, where are my letters? And I need my, I wanted this. Now, at this point, everything is dry, because you do need to work on a dry surface with any of your things. Now, what am I looking for? Don't want the bows. Maybe we'll have the hearts on the string. I like that. But what did appeal to me and why I chose this one is that kind of looked like a nest to me. So my thinking was birds, nests, like maybe I'll have it coming off the edge of the page And I'll do that in 3 places. So what I'm going to do is, can't really do it in 3 places, can I? Because if I cut it in half, that'll give me 2. Thinks. Okay, I'm definitely gonna go, well, let me cut it out for a start. Whenever you are working with these rub-ons, you need to always just cut it out with its backing on, because the glue is very efficient. So if I'm going to have a nest over here, let's start by cutting it in half-ish, slightly less than half. Okay, especially for this side, because I've got more going on over here. And here I can have, I know what I'll do. I'll then have the heart up there. Okay, so that'll work, because this is repeating the kind of thing, and then I get 3, so that makes me happy. So now just cutting that little heart off. The trick now is to remember to take your backing off before you start rubbing it down. So I'm going to take the backing off, because I have been known to accidentally rub these things in place with the backing on. I forget, get so carried away and excited. So this is going to be like an extension of the birds. So that there. Oh, my nails match a page. Yes, quite. They do. Not intentional, I can assure you. Okay, let's have this up there. I might not put the words on now. Maybe the words will go down here. Okay, so now that makes a visual triangle, because I've got this line going across. I know Sarah is so good at making a diagonal, but I'm not so good at that. And so now what I'm going to do is, I work better with this visual triangle thing, where you have 3 things repeated across a project to help you get that visual kind of link. Right, let's see. Yep, I need to press a little bit more up there. So now I am working on top of oxide, so I'm going to hold this in, anchor it. Yep, perfect. And do the same over here. So sometimes the oxides don't like things, it like resists things. They're kind of chalky-ish, but I do find that these stick beautifully on top of absolutely anything, on glass, on plastic, on leather, fabric. Believe me, I've tested it all. Thanks, Ali. I see Ali's busy with the links in Facebook. Okie dokie. Let's peel this one back while holding it in place. There we go. Last one over here. Oh, at least. Thanks for saying it's the perfect page. We know you love birds. I've always known you to love birds. So I'm glad it's making your crafty heart happy. Okay, let's see how this one goes. So you'll notice I'm holding it still on the side just in case it doesn't all come off. There we go. Now, let's do, I'm going to just go monochrome and add brown to, I'm going to add a shadow under my birds, my little usual trick. So if I color onto the white, it doesn't matter. It's just a very dark brown, very, very dark brown, in fact. But it links up now with those. So I'm going to make them just look like. So dark shadow up against the bird and then blending out. It's just a little trick I like to do. So it looks like they are flying against a wall or something where the sun could be making a shadow. And if you haven't sat through this a million times before, I'll repeat it just a million and one time. I always have my light from the right, so my shadow's on the left. So it's like an imaginary sun. Just helps to pop them off the page. I mean, it's all made up anyway. So just having fun and experimenting and playing. Bye, Selena. Well, these videos, as you know, Facebook will be deleting them after 30 days, but you can always find them on the YouTube account. So I'm going to do the same with the rose over here. So if you want to come back, watch back, see what I did in more than a month's time, it will be on YouTube. So if you're not watching on YouTube already, then I suggest, if you're on Facebook and you want to just have a recap, then YouTube is the place to look for stuff. Don't blame Facebook. I mean, they must have a ridiculous amount of storage that they're going to be freeing up by not storing everybody's videos. So there we go. Right, where else can I add this? I might darken this back wing a little bit to push his face forward. So let's just darken the back wing there. That helps a little bit as well. So we'll darken so his beak and his head and everything is all becoming kind of one. So shadows always push things back. Light things pull things forward. So that's why with the bird being all one color, I decided that this needed doing on this one. Right. Are we done? I think we're done. I mean, we could keep going forever and a day. We could give the birds balloons in their beaks. They could hold balloons. I've got more than one lot of balloons here. We had those hearts that could go on, but I actually think this is enough. Last thing I'm going to do is just go around the very edge of my page with normal distress oxide vintage photo, not oxide, normal distress, and just frame the page. So this I like to do at the very end, just to give it, even though I've done the stamping and the stencil work, I like to just finish off the very edge of my page with some ink. And I know the brown on the brown here isn't really showing, so I'm not going to faff too much with that. I would need a darker ink or lots more ink to make it browner. So let's just go gung-ho. Inking my desk. Good thing it cleans. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. Don't forget that the stamp sets and paper are on special in the store right now until Sunday evening, midnight, Sunday evening. And that Sarah will be posting everything out once she is back. So thank you very much for joining me tonight. I've enjoyed your company. Thank you, Ali, for putting all the links in and all your support in the chat. So, I see Mom's in on Facebook. It's a pleasure, Carol Ann. So, bye for now, everybody. And I will be posting this in the group as a photo. It's always, I know the first thing I do after I finish my live is go and take my whatever I've made to go and show my mom. And she goes, it's so much brighter in real life. I know the camera kills color, so I will take a photo and pop it in the group shortly. So thanks, everybody, and bye for now.